Hello and welcome to the Change Gang podcast with me, your host, Laura Ordile. I'm here to help you hold on to your sanity and your soul as you move through big change. I'm here to guide you from frustration to flow in your life, bridging the practical and the woo, just for you. Let's go. Hey there, Change Gang. Happy day to you. Let's get rolling into the week with another fun episode on astrology. I hope you've caught the other ones on Saturn with life purpose, on the elements, the basics in astrology. And then also if you go back a few episodes, you'll find one on the moon, the progressed moon and the natal moon, all about our emotional energy. Today, I want to tap into the mental side, our mind, and that's Mercury. And so just to kind of explain a little bit, the way that I learned and the information that I learned in studying astrology is that the planet, like Mercury, is the essence of it. It's the what. So like Mercury is mental energy. That's what Mercury is about. The sign is how. How do you use the energy? So if you are a Gemini, how are you using that mental energy? And then the house is a little bit of an influence, kind of where does the energy show up? Where is it happening most for you? So Mercury, I'm going to go through it in the elements. I'll speak to it in the house, and then if we don't get too long, I'll touch on it real quick for each sign. But Mercury in the element, so if you have Mercury in a water sign, your mind is quiet. It's at that quieter level. It's intuitive, it's receptive. Sometimes it can get a little swamped, and that feeling gets really uncomfortable if you've got kind of a lot going on in your mind. But it allows you really to be patient and to kind of work through and let your feelings move through, and then kind of to let the thoughts come in and clarify. So it's a flow. It's that, just like water is, it's that flow, and it allows you to be there, except in that overwhelmed state where then, you probably can't even find your words. It just you get tongue-tied, or you get overwhelmed and you retreat and you don't want to talk about things. So, but tap into that intuitive part and that calm. That's so amazing. I love that. For air signs out there, if your Mercury is in an air sign, and you can go to that astro.com and it will show you where your Mercury is. There's a whole list down at the bottom on the side. You're really going to be talented with words. A lot of words. You might have too many words sometimes, but you have so many thoughts and ideas and things that run through your brain that sometimes it's a little hard to actually decide which one you want to go with, which area you want to play in, which direction you want to move in. Is this the best way, or is that the best way? And so making that decision can be a little bit hard for the air sign sometimes. But they're really good at being the counselor, or that in-between person that kind of evens things out for people, or they'll get both sides of the story. They'll really want to know, and they'll dig in. They will dig in and find out what are the sides, what is the information that we're dealing with here, what do we need to look at, and they'll find the balance there to kind of help both sides see something. Sometimes that makes people crazy when they really want you to look at the other side, because you just want them to see your side sometimes, and that's understandable. But remember that the air sign, those things are moving so quickly in the mind, so quickly that sometimes the ideas are super hard to grasp hold of, to get a hold of. So if you're an air sign and you have a lot going on, find a way to make your lists, or find a way to get them out of your mind, get the ideas out of your mind and onto paper or into an electronic note, or whatever it is that works for you. With the earth sign, these are practical, are very deliberate friends. They are grounded. They also might find that they need routine. The brain needs routine, and it needs to look and search for security in whatever situation you're in. So that's where you might want to stash that cash for a rainy day, or have that little cozy comfort spot in your home for when you really need to just go and have some time away. They're great at organizing and bringing in structure. They can create a system in their mind and have it in place before the rest of us can even come up with the idea. I mean, they just are really good, and putting it into play is something that they can be good at too. Very reliable, very consistent. They can get stuck in that routine sometimes and fixate a little bit on not being flexible or not finding that another way can work just as well. So those repetitive thoughts, get in there and circle around for the earth signs. Hang in there. It's okay, because you have some amazing parts of you to work with. The fire signs. The fire sign is the mind. Oh my goodness. So fast, so quick, and so impulsive. I mean, things will come out of their mouth before they even realize. They'll be 2 sentences in and then realize what they said and be like, oh, wait, trying to backtrack a little bit and go, maybe I shouldn't have said that. But they will say the first thing that comes to mind. This is where a lot of people, they say, oh, I don't have that filter. Yeah, sometimes that will be the people with the fire sign in Mercury. They're also very instinctive and psychic. They tap in with their mind into that psychic field, into that psychic energy really quickly. Even though they can occasionally put their foot in their mouth, they also tell us the truth. They tell the truth. So if you have something coming from the mind of someone with Mercury and fire, it's going to be off the top of their head, and it's going to probably be the truth. So then moving into just real quick going through the houses. So if your Mercury is in the first house, you're going to want to lead in your life with intellect. That's going to be what's going to kind of come first in your mind, is let's look at this intellectually. Let's look at this with the knowledge that we have. It's not going to be that emotional reaction first thing. If it's in the second house, you're probably going to be really good with numbers and really good at putting those foundations into things. Pretty stable, down to earth thoughts and mind and go-to ways of doing things. So in the third house, great administrators, because these are the multitaskers, quote unquote. They're quick. They can think fast. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's put this in place. Let's move and create more. They're great at bringing the other people along and kind of brainstorming and getting all the ideas out there. All right. If it's in the fourth house, probably have a really good memory. You have a lot of ability to hang on to things, to remember things. Probably an amazing historian, amazing ancestral person who can really follow the ancestry in their life and their family, and will remember all the things about all the people. So if your Mercury's in the fifth house, you might be a little dramatic, but really like to put the ideas out there, to be creative, to have a good time, and maybe perform those ideas, put those ideas into play. That's a great thing and really fun. There's a fun factor here, so really good with kids. If it's in the sixth house, this is going to be the details, digging into the details. Super good, probably in accounting, in science, in that organization. They will do the detail work. So it might not be about the big picture for them, but they will know all of the details. If you say, let's do it this way, they'll go, okay, we need to do this, and they will have everything in line that needs to be done in order to make that happen. So, in the seventh house, Mercury in the seventh house, this is the mediator. This is the person who really wants things to be fair. And they will be the one that says, that's not fair, because their brain immediately thinks there needs to be fairness, it needs to be equal, needs to be balanced. All of those things need to be in play. But in the meantime, they are great mediators. So if you have Mercury in the seventh house, you probably see that in your life. And you probably see that you really are interested in relationships, in how relationships work, in how they fit into life in general. So Mercury in the 8th house, oh my goodness. Very intuitive mind. It goes deep and can really transform the information that it gets. And probably these are the people that when you hear somebody talk about receiving a download, it's right here. And they receive it and they listen to it. They understand it. They really know that this is important information. It might not all come at once, but it might be over a day that this stuff comes, or maybe over a week, but they will pay attention and put the pieces together and make it into the thing that it needs to be. So pretty incredible there. If you have Mercury in the 9th house, this is the truth teller. This is the one that if that information comes off the top of the head, it will be the truth. All right, it will be the information that maybe they feel that you need to know for the big picture, because they're going to want to look at that big picture. And the details are not important to this person. It is the big picture, and they want to see the overall plan for things, the overall way of doing things. These are the people that are like, what does life mean? Why are we here? These are those people. Okay, that's where the brain goes. In the 10th house, natural organizer again, planner. This really is someone who excels in the structure of things, in form. These are probably really big corporate people. They can deal with corporate really well because they enjoy the structure of it all for their mind. They like working with systems. It also might be someone who really digs in and like creates code and things like that, because the structure of it is what's meaningful for them. Mercury in the 11th house. Your mind thinks outside the box, all right? These are the people that think about the world. These are the people that think about the community. The brain is going to say, how can we be wild and wonderful and still save the earth? And still, be good to the whales while we are surfing and while we go and read our astrology chart and all those fun things. So a little bit weird. They are gonna think outside the box, and they are gonna have creative solutions to things. So someone with Mercury here, if you have an issue, these are great people to try and help figure it out. In the 12th house, your mind is very much in almost the other realm of things. This is the channel, also very psychic, the dreamer. This is a person who will watch and observe and pull pieces out of the situation. They might not necessarily want to share it with you unless they have heavy, maybe Gemini energy somewhere going on in there, but they're going to watch and they are going to really tell you about some of the interesting, maybe otherworldly things. They might talk to you about life after death, or the aliens, or the 11th house might talk to you about aliens too, just so you know. But this 12th house, they're the mystics, they're the shamans, they're the ones that are thinking in those kinds of realms. So just to touch super quick, I'm going to go really fast here. So I'm going to touch on the signs. Mercury in Aries. These are the pioneers, but they do like to argue, and they are opinionated, and they're passionate, and they will take action without really thinking about it. They're just going to be up there jumping and going. Mercury in Taurus. These are the grounded, loyal people. These people love to listen to the same song over and over. They're not going to be super quick in things. They like to take their time. They like to move through things. They are in that foundational thing again, probably really wanting to have their head in some way in learning about money, or they want to totally avoid it, but hopefully they want to learn about it. Mercury and Gemini. These are the ones that love, oh my gosh, they will have so many books, and they're probably reading about 4, 5, 6 of them at a time. I can attest to this, all right? I can, because it gets a little crazy. But they might be listening to a book, or two, reading a book on a Kindle, having a few books next to their bed in paperback that they're reading, and they're going to read everything. They're going to explore everything. They're going to want to take the classes on everything. So these are the people that are really curious. They're the communicators. You might consider them nosy because they do want to talk and find out all the information, but they're good at it, and they're good at pulling like pieces from each person and being able to have a conversation with everyone in the room. So that's a good thing about that. Mercury and Cancer. Okay, this is the flow. Remember the flow of things. This is kind of a circular thought pattern. Their thoughts are colored by their emotions sometimes because these are the people who almost have that empathic mind. They will go in and they reach with their mind to see what someone else is feeling, to see what's going on. The person who wants to feel the room, who wants to get an idea of the vibe, all right? And they do, and they can, and that's a great part of it. So the big part is to not let it flow into themselves and really take on everybody else's stuff. So keep that in mind, my wonderful little Cancers. Mercury in Leo. These, again, are the willful people. They are spontaneous, they are brilliant, creative. These are the dramatic ones. They're going to want to be up there on stage. They're going to want to show you their stuff. They're going to be the ones that have all the makeup, all the hair stuff, and they love all the clothes. These are the Leos, all right? And they think in terms, they think super quick, but they need to kind of move that energy out into someplace. So they talk. So they might talk right off the cuff, and they'll be talking about this, talk about that, talk about that. And again, these are the ones that there'll be a few sentences in before they actually realized what they said. So that's okay. That's a good thing. They will put things into action. They will move those ideas out into the world. Mercury in Virgo. This is, again, the organizer. The system person. They do tend to sometimes get a little, they critique a lot. I don't want to say judgment. Well, I'm going to say they kind of get judgy. A lot with themselves, though, with their own ideas about things. That's not good enough. I need to be thinking of something better. I need to be doing this. So they're harsh with others, but they're even doubly harsh with themselves. And it can get interesting because that energy can also be used to really, I want to say, scrutinize things or move in and look at the details of. So they're great people for looking at contracts or looking at the systems that are in place. They will find the issues in them because they can. Mercury in Libra. So they want the balance, they want to have the mediator, but they will go back and forth, and sometimes they don't necessarily claim their own version of something because they're looking at both sides of something. I see it this way, but I also see it that way. And they really like to have harmony, especially in their thoughts and their mind in the way that they're going to move forward. So that can be a little bit of a struggle for them, but they're pretty incredible. And I heard it described once that they see the world in colors. How amazing is that? It's kind of beautiful, right? I just think that's a nice way to look at it. Mercury in Scorpio. These are the ones, Scorpios are detectives. They will go down and find all the wonderful little things and all the deep, dark secrets. They can do that, and they will go deep and get intense, and their thoughts will do the same thing. They can focus on something intensely. Sometimes they can get a little focused on that dark side. And so it's important for them to kind of pull themselves out of that and find the beautiful side of things too, because they do see things so intensely and they think things so intensely, and the focus is so much that it's like adding supervision when you're looking at something. I don't even know how to describe it, but it's so amazing and beautiful. They see things so intensely that whatever they're looking at is amplified in ways that most of us can't even really comprehend, but that's okay. So they will be intense about it. They don't want to be floofing around with stuff and none of the I call it fluffy. None of the fluffy stuff. They just want to get down to it. Let's get down to business. Mercury and Sagittarius. Here's our little sarcastic fire people. They're the philosophers. They do have kind of maybe a sassy sense of humor sometimes, probably the comedians that are out there. They are blunt, though sometimes not as precise as some people can be. Because of that sort of sassiness, they'll do it in a sarcastic way, so they won't come right at you. They'll come at you from the side a little bit. So it's pretty interesting, but they do look for the big picture, and they show us the big picture on something. When we get so lost in the details of something that we get overwhelmed, whoever it might be at any given time, they just go, hey, no, get out of that. Look at the bigger picture of things. Are you really okay? Are you going to be okay? They see that, and they will show that to the rest of us, which is a really great gift. It is. I love that. Mercury and Capricorn. These are the workers with the high standards. These can be the writers, the consultants, but they have a very disciplined mind, and it's important to them to have that discipline in working through what they do. So they're not going to want the crazy situation of things like, maybe in a restaurant where things get all wild and crazy and everything. They're going to want to be maybe in the kitchen where they can put things in place and know that here's the things that you do, or in the office, or in the reservation part where they can really see the plan and put things where they want it to be and keep things moving in a way that is to their standards. All right. And they're good at manifesting. These people put their brains out in a way that they will go, all right, what do we need to do to get here? And they will lay it out and they will get there. So that's pretty incredible. Mercury in Aquarius. Right? Here's our eccentrics. Interestingly, they can see the patterns in places that other people can't see it. They are really good at pattern recognition. These are sometimes genius level people. They really are the rule breakers. They will think outside the box. They will think in the future, very future oriented, probably pretty good at science and the things that go along with that, money, math, all of those things are kind of mixed in there for those Aquarians, but they will want to have that almost other side of things too. They want the astrology, they want the aliens, they want the tarot cards, they want those things to be a part of the life that they're living, and their brain will go find them because they like it. Mercury and Pisces. These guys will try to multitask, but they might get a little lost, a little off track with it because they are so up in their imagination. They are so bloomin' creative. They just love it. But time will not exist for these people. Time is like this weird construct that they don't really get. Their mind just floats out there in that psychic realm, especially in the mystical, the magical, the focus, not so much. But these are the dreamers, and these are the ones that do help in dreaming up the next amazing thing in life, because they don't put boundaries on things. They don't see the boundaries of the world that a lot of us do see. They just don't, and it's beautiful and wonderful. So there you go. Gosh, I ran through that super quick, but I wanted to get it in, and I didn't want to get this too long for you guys to listen to. So I hope that was useful and fun for you. I hope that some of these pieces are showing you that this is the energy that you're working with in this life with your brain. And if you really go, oh yeah, and you embrace it and you don't fight against it, you will find that things go so much easier for you. So much easier. So if you know that your mind is going to be going slower, like the Taurus is it needs to take the next step and then the next step and do it at its own pace. And you're not getting frustrated with yourself because of that, but going, you know what, this is how my brain works and this is wonderful and perfect. And I'm so glad I know this about myself because I can work with that. I can put the methods in place that allow me to do that. That's so great, right? And if you know that, you're that warrior, your brain is going to be up front and center and moving out in there. It wants the thoughts to go immediately into action. If you know that about yourself, that's awesome because you can work with that in your daily life and you can do it in ways that are helpful to not only you, but everything else in your life, your career, your relationships, all of that. Because when you know the pieces of yourself and you put that beautiful puzzle together, you can see how amazing you are and how to put each energy inside yourself into play to live your best life. There you go. I hope today's episode was interesting to you in some way and fun. If so, hey, find someone to share it with. Maybe they need to hear it too, or maybe they'll just enjoy it. If you'd like, go ahead and grab my tips on supercharging your success. It includes a free short meditation to do just that. You can find that at bit.ly/supercharge your success. Until next time, happy day.